Hey YouTube land, Rahzar doing another action figure review, and today we are looking at the Joytoy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or TMNT Rahzar. Now, I already picked up Toka, and I believe I did do a review for Toka, and I said at the time when I did that review I was going to pick up Rahzar as soon as he became available, and as he has become available I have picked him up. So we'll have a quick look at the box first, and then we'll get into the figure and its many accessories and bases. So the box is pretty much the same thing you expect from the TMNT line. In fact, if I bring in Rahzar's box, you can see it is pretty much, or Toka's box, it is pretty much identical in the border, the backing, the way it's designed. It's just a simplistic black box with the Turtles logo, an image of the figure on the side of the box, legalese stuff on one side, and then multiple images of the figures. Now, unfortunately, there's a big huge sticker on this for more legalese stuff, but it does showcase some of the contents within. And then on the bottom of the box, you just have the Turtles logo. Now, it is worth pointing out that when you take the figure out, there is one of those desiccant thing for the, was it for drying up the air, or was it the kind of air dehumidifying kind of ability of the stuff of the figure, so it doesn't get too damp or anything in transit. So there is one of those in there. Just, you can either chuck it, but do not eat it, as it says, do not eat, because it would be harmful and bad for your health if you did so. So we'll pause the video there, we'll get the figure set up, and then we'll have a look at him and all his trimmings. So bear with me a moment, we'll get right back into him. So here is the infamous beastie in all his glory. So he is holding two of his accessories that he comes with, being this huge double-sided mace club thing, which, just like whose was it? I think it was Toka's, or sorry, yeah, it was Toka's one. Looked fairly formidable. He had that big anchor hook thing that looked like it would do some serious damage. This thing looks like it would club you fairly heavily. But before we have a look at the accessories, we'll go through the bases first, because there's two bases. They seem to do this with the whole figure line. So you got this kind of standard small scale base, which across the board it's been the same size. The only difference is the tampo, or the stamp on it. So for the Turtles one, obviously you have Turtles, or for the heroes, most of the heroes that I've picked up so far, I've only gotten the 4 main Turtles and April, all have the Turtles logo on it. I'm not sure if they'll change that going down the path for other hero characters that weren't affiliated with the Turtles, because this one is just the city sewer logo. And for characters like Krang and the Foot Soldiers and Shredder, they actually have a foot logo on it. Now, I don't have the foot logo one to hand to show the difference, but it is interesting that both, I believe, Toka, Rahzar and Slash all have this just plain city sewer emblem one, whereas some of the more iconic bad guys like Bebop, Rocksteady, and I believe, as I said, the Foot Soldier and Shredder all have like a Foot Clan logo on them. And then for a more dynamic base, you have this quarter base. So it is done in a modular, well, it's not completely modular because it just makes a full circle once you have them all together, but it's intended to clip together. And if you have all of them, you end up with something like this. So the Turtles come with a different one that looks like a throwing star. The Foot Clan and the villain characters all seem to come with this one so far. They haven't swapped that out yet. It is, from what I can tell, it's the exact same base. You just, because it's symmetrical, you can actually just put it into a full circle, and it looks pretty cool. It's pretty nifty. But that's it for the bases. We'll have a look at Mr. Toka. Keep calling him Toka, and I know when I bring in Toka, I'll keep calling him Rahzar. It is Rahzar, or Rahzar. I'm going to take his gear out of his hands, just to make it easier for myself. And we'll leave the figure off to the side for a second, because there is quite a big plethora of stuff to get through, and then we'll go through the main figure itself. So, starting off with his shield weapon. I really love the shield weapon. It's done as a rusty, broken down door off, it looks like a vat, or maybe a car of some kind. Even has the door handle on it, which is pretty cool. It is designed just to fit on the left hand. It's not really designed to go on the right, because the loop goes through here and connects onto the hand. It is a bit tricky to do. They're best off popping the hand off, putting the hand on this first, and then putting it back on, slipping it up over the, well, finagling it up over the wrist and lower arm to get it on. But it is kind of similar to both Rahzar, Toka and Slash. They both had a shield of some kind. I believe, was it Slash's one was a wooden one with spikes on it, and Toka's was a somewhat similar thing. Yeah, I know Toka and Rahzar both have very similar gear, because they both come with that beer stein with the kind of beer in it. For food elements, actually, we'll go on to the food elements, because Rahzar here actually comes with quite a lot of food element stuff. He comes with a big, I don't know, what would you call it, a drumstick with a big chunk taken out of it. It's not quite a drumstick, but it's like a chunk of meat on the bone. And if I bring it up close, and hopefully they get the camera to focus up on it, I might need to increase my lighting a bit. Hang on. So that makes a bit of difference. Come on, focus, focus, focus. You can see my camera's not wanting to focus for some reason. But it is a big chunk of meat with a big piece of bone on it. Then he has like a shish kebab with a bunch of meat. What's interesting is you can actually rotate some of this around, and it comes in useful later on, because you can try and get it to look like he's eating, like taking a chunk out of it, because he has an articulated mouth. And then for those of you who are more familiar with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles second film, Secret of the Ooze, I believe this is a nod to that. He comes with a ginormous donut, a chocolate sprinkled donut. And if you know the reference to that because of that movie, it is because the turtles, the good guys, use donuts to ensnare Toka and Rahzar at the climax of the movie. I won't give away too much of what happens, but they use a box of donuts to their advantage. So if you haven't seen the movie, I know the movie's been out quite a long time. It's been, it's the 90s, so nearly 30 years old. It's quite an old movie at this stage, but it is still one of the best turtle movies. I know it is kind of hit and miss, because the first two movies were good. The second one was a bit more comedic, because how dark the tones in the original first movie was. You had parents complaining that the turtles were using weapons, blah, blah, blah. It's like they're ninjas using ninja weapons. The parents saw that as too violent, and they toned down the violence in the second movie. So if you ever watch the second movie, you will notice that the turtles very rarely, if not ever, use their weapons to actually attack anyone. They use them in kind of comedic stances. So for actual weapons, Rahzar here comes with this really nifty kind of slightly futuristic shotgun, which is interesting compared to Toka's, because Toka has a very flintlock pistol look, which is similar to Slash's. He also comes with this bazooka, which is kind of cool. Now, I like the bazooka on its own. There is an accessory for the bazooka, and it looks ridiculous. I don't really like it. It's my least favorite part of the figure and its accessories, because all the accessories really look kind of serious and kind of not so goofy, whereas this one accessory looks really goofy. He comes with 2 of these dagger punch blade things. Now, unlike with Taka, Rahzar doesn't really have any weapon storage except for this. This is the only thing he can actually store on him. He has this piece on his back which actually unplugs. It isn't, I do believe it's designed to do that specifically, and it means you can kind of position it how you want on his back. It does friction kind of pop in, but that is, from what I can see, the only weapon storage for this guy. So any of the bazooka, the width of the bazooka isn't big enough to fit this thing, unless the handle fits. The handle doesn't even fit on this. So, like, you can't put the bazooka on this. It would be the only other weapon, really, I could see him store. He might be able to fit one of these on, but makes no sense just having the one. He does come with a bunch of extra hands. So he only comes with, which is interesting, 1 punching hand, which is kind of a unique, because usually figures generally tend to come with 2 punching hands. He only comes with the 1. He has a trigger finger hand for his right hand. Then he has a weapon grip for his right hand, which is for the 2 of these blades. And you can put this in either hand then. So he has his other opposite or weapon grip hand on there. And then he has these cool outstretched, almost rending, claw rending slash hands. This is probably the best way to describe them. They're pretty cool. So for most of his weapons and gear, he can hold them with those grip hands, so he doesn't really need too much. And I saved the worst accessory piece for last. It's just one I don't think I'll ever really display him with. He has this ridiculous looking missile. In fact, if I just readjust my camera a small bit, it might actually focus up on it if I bring it in. Bear with me a moment. Let me just adjust my lighting. It might make it a little easier to see. Bear with me one moment. That might be better. So he comes with this. This is supposed to be some sort of missile for the bazooka. There is a hole on the front of it, and it is designed that you can wedge this thing into the front and have it look like it's firing out of it. It looks ridiculous. It looks too goofy. I know the Turtles are generally a goofy character line, but the Joytoy ones have been kind of very... they are very kind of more seriously designed, whereas this thing, it looks like he stuffed Wile E. Coyote into the front of his missile and is firing him off. It looks like something from a Looney Tunes cartoon, as it's like an Acme bazooka with, like, if it had Acme on the side of it, it would fit this thing far more than what it does. So it's my least favorite part of that accessory. The bazooka itself looks cool, and it is nice that you can wield it without having that thing in it. So it is optional. It probably will be forever put into a bits bag with all his other components and never talked of or used ever again. So I'm going to pause here for a second. I'm going to move some of the bits out of the way, and then we'll have a look at the figure and his articulation. So we'll have a look at the figure and his articulation. Just before I go into the articulation, the first thing I will do is have a look at the height of the figure. So he does stand around the 5-inch tall mark. He is quite tall. It is a 1/18 scale designed line. So if you have other figures that are done in 1/18 scale, which are like human characters, so if I just grab Chekhov here, you can see how tall he towers over characters like Chekhov. Because he's standing here beside me, grabbing the Muro Ray character from the Gundam figure line. There is a slight, I think these guys are more 3.75 and this is more 4-inch, so you have that slight height discrepancy between them. But as you can see, like any figures that are in that kind of 1/18 scale is going to be fairly small looking against Rahzar because of the height. And he is pretty cool articulation wise. So he has all the articulation you would expect from this line. His head is on a ball joint, so you can get some good left to right tilt. He has articulating jaw, just like his wave, well, not wave companions, but his brother in arms, or however you want to call him, Toka. So he has that. Now, overall design aspect, he is more closer to his original look, as in the original kind of Jim Henson style puppet design. He has that kind of, was it 50 style was it 50 style Dodge grill chest plate. He has those big padding knee pads, and he has these things do move around a bit, the thigh ones, but like he has all these armored thigh bits. He has the open claws, he has the wraps. He looks very similar to, if you have the NECA figure, he doesn't look too far off that, just the coloring looks a bit different because it's more, it has a more cartoon look to it, but it's not quite cartoon. I do like his head sculpt. I'm not sure if you can see that there. His eyes have more, they're not more rounded pupils, they're more slits. So he has a kind of berserk mode look to him, but he is quite nice. So his arms can rotate all the way around. His shoulder pad thing does get in the way. It is a separate piece, but it does cover that. His arms can go up that much. He does have the bicep swivel. He does have double jointed elbows, so you can get some great range of movement. His hands are on a ball joint. There's also, depending on which hand you have in, you can get some really good movement on it. In fact, this is where that whole thing comes into play. So just to show, you can get his hand into it. You can have that shish kebab looking thing, and you can actually position it to look like he's actually taking a chunk out of the meat on it. And the same with the big chunk of meat on the bone. You can actually position it to make it look like he's taking a chunk out of it. He does have double waist, so he has a bottom waist and then he has a diaphragm joint, so you get some good range of movement on that. He has forward and back on the legs. He has a swivel. Now he can kick forward a good bit, but he does tend to splay out a small bit at the side. He does have double jointed knees, which are really nice. Again, this padding is fixed to the actual knee, so this one doesn't move, but the one up here does. And then he has these rocker ankle joints, which are on a ball joint. He has a peg hole on the bottom of his feet. And just giving a quick look around at the back, again, you can see how detailed he is. He has the fur going all the way down his back, and he has little bits of fur just where the knees and the kind of calves on his the side of his legs are. And then these little pieces are movable. They're actually just over the wrist, so if you want to move them around when positioning them, you can do so as well. So he's actually quite posable and quite a intimidating looking character. I do like the color scheme for Toka and Slash a little bit more, because they have I think the wash they put on them just looks a little bit more menacing, where Toka here looks a little bit more cartoon-esque. If I bring in his partner in crime, you can see how small Toka even looks beside him. He actually is, there's like a good about an inch height difference between the two. So he does look pretty intimidating, even from that standpoint. But overall, he is a really nice figure. So for other size comparisons, we'll just bring in some other figures. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the turtles to hand, or easily to hand, so I would bring those in, or Shredder or any of those, but we'll bring in a Cobra Trooper from the retro line, and we'll bring in April because I have her handy. We'll bring in Miss O'Neill so you can see how high the human characters stand generally next to them. So you can see he is quite a tall beastie in general. So we'll wrap this up here. Hopefully I've gotten through everything on him. He looks pretty cool. I did pick this guy up from Locker Toys. Or not Locker Toys. It used to be Locker Toys. It's now LT Cave. I'm not sure if he's still available at the time of this recording. He was when I last checked. But I'll put a link in the description below. And sometimes they have done reissues, because they did do a reissue of all 4 turtles at one point. So it may be a thing that if it's popular enough, they may reissue them if you missed out on them the first time around. If not, unfortunately, it does might mean the dreaded third-party sellers on eBay, stuff like that, that are charging twice what he normally would retail at. So it is what it is, unfortunately. But I will try and throw a link in the description below to the LT Cave section where I got him from. I do recommend picking him up if you're a fan of turtles. He does look pretty nice next to his companion in arms, Toka. If you just like him in general as a werewolf character, he looks like he would work as a kind of werewolf. You would probably might have to remove the chest piece. I don't think it is removable, but like if you were a customizer, you'd probably be able to strip him down as much as you want to get the ear off and make him look more werewolfy, even though there is other figure lines out there that do werewolves in this scale, but it's few and far between. But overall, he is nice. So going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed my video review. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Please hit that like button just to keep my channel going. It's always appreciated. And as always, hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world watching this. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully you stayed all the way to the end. Cheers. Thanks for watching.